Right now, as you hear my voice, something in you is on automatic. Part of you is listening, another part is already drifting. A third part is thinking about what you will eat later, who has messaged you, what you must do tomorrow. You believe you are here, present, one single you, receiving these words. You are not. You are scattered in fragments, pulled like threads through a dozen unnoticed machines that call themselves I. Imagine yourself driving late at night on a road you have taken 1,000 times. Your hands turn the wheel, your foot adjusts the pressure on the pedal, your eyes register the signs, the traffic lights, the curves, and yet 20 minutes disappear. You wake up and realize you have no conscious memory of the last miles. The body drove, the mind wandered, something functioned without you. That is how you live your entire life. You think this is an exception. I tell you, it is the rule. You go to work, you speak to people, you nod, smile, frown. You scroll through images, consume words, react to headlines, get irritated, amused, bored. You come home, you eat, you talk, you lie down. And if I ask you at night, where were you today? You will answer with a story, not with truth. You will say, I was at the office, I had a meeting, I called a friend, I watched something, I went to sleep. But this is only the path of your body and the noise of your mind. It is not the presence of your being. For most of the day, you are absent from your own life. You believe you are awake because your eyes are open, because you can think, speak, choose. But a machine can also respond to signals, follow a program, adapt to changes. The fact that you can react does not mean you are conscious. The fact that you can talk about yourself does not mean you know yourself. If these words sting you, good. That sting is the first sign that something deeper than your usual self has heard me. There is a reason what I say is not spoken openly in marketplaces, in classrooms, in the banal gatherings where people trade opinions. To tell the ordinary person that he is asleep while believing himself awake is to insult the most sacred idol he has, the idol of his imagined self. He would rather kill the messenger than question that idol. I do not care if you like me. I only care if you begin to see. Look at an ordinary day of yours with ruthless honesty. You wake up. Already some mood has taken you. You did not choose it. It may be heaviness, anxiety, vague restlessness, a flat grayness. You call it, I am in a bad mood, or I feel off today. It is already deciding how you will answer messages, how you will interpret what others say, how you will move your body. Later, some small pleasure appears, coffee, a message from someone you like, a piece of news that flatters your hopes, and your mood shifts. You call it, I feel better now. You imagine, childishly, that this change reflects some inner sovereignty. In reality, you are being moved by forces you do not see, like a puppet pulled by many strings. During the day, someone says something that touches a sore spot, criticizes you, ignores you, outshines you. Suddenly, irritation or hurt flares up. Watch carefully. It is instantaneous. You did not think, weigh, choose. The reaction appeared before you could even see it arrive. Later, you may justify it or regret it, but you did not choose it. It chose you. How many times today did you truly choose? Do not answer quickly. Look. You will find that almost everything was a chain of cause and effect, old habits triggered by familiar stimuli. You have standard reactions to tone of voice, to certain words, to certain looks, to certain inner fantasies. You repeat the same patterns with different faces, different places, different costumes. You call this my life. I call it sleep. There is something more terrible. And this is the dangerous knowledge I speak of. Your sleep is not only yours. The way you think, feel, and move in this automatic haze does not concern only you. Your mechanical reactions are part of a vast network of forces, a gigantic apparatus of energies that feeds on unconsciousness. Your resentments, your petty jealousies, your compulsive desires, your passive suffering, they are not wasted, they are used. You live as food. If you knew this deeply, not as a metaphor, but as a sober perception, you would not be able to continue as you do. That is why such knowledge is usually hidden, veiled in symbols, rituals, strange stories. But I speak to you without veil, because you have already touched, however faintly, the taste of inner emptiness. the feeling that something is fundamentally wrong with how you exist. That faint taste is my permission to speak plainly. Let us begin with this. The you that hears me now is not one. You say, I want to change, I want to grow, I want to be free, but which I says this? The one that speaks tonight is not the one that will wake up tomorrow and reach for the phone before opening its eyes. It is not the one that will postpone, eschew, see, forget, or rebel. Inside you there is a crowd. One part desires discipline. Another part despises discipline and wants comfort at any price. One part wants to be seen as special, spiritual, different. Another part is terrified of any real demand. You promise yourself in the evening, tomorrow I will start. Another part of you whispers in the morning, later, not now. You are tired. You deserve rest. In the afternoon, another part appears and says, look how you have failed again. You are hopeless. Then yet another appears saying, no, I am strong. I will overcome. If you observe sincerely, you will find that through the day, different speakers use the word I as if they own it. There is no master in the house, only quarreling servants. You have tried to solve your problems with this fractured assembly. You have tried to decide with a mind that changes its face every hour. That is why your decisions do not hold. The you who makes the resolution is not the you who must carry it out. By the time the moment of action arrives, a different inner figure has taken the throne, and he does not care about previous promises. You call this weakness. I call it multiplicity. On top of this inner crowd, you wear a mask, the personality you show to the world and to yourself. This mask is not random. It has been constructed over years by parents, teachers, culture, by imitation, by fear, by admiration, by the need to belong, by the need to protect yourself. You have carefully learned how to appear, what you should like, what you should reject, what you should admire. You have learned which parts of you are acceptable and which must be hidden. You have created a character. This character speaks in your name. It says, this is just how I am. It defends itself. It receives praise and feels validated. It receives criticism and feels attacked. It maintains its image at all costs, even when that image suffocates your deeper nature. Beneath this mask, your essence, what you were before conditioning, what you might become, lies buried, underfed, nearly forgotten. Your mask is clever. It will even borrow the language of awakening to preserve itself. It will say, I am working on myself. I am spiritual. I am aware. While continuing to react mechanically, seek comfort, demand reassurance, and avoid real effort. It prefers dreams of transformation to the actual pain of transformation. If you are to approach dangerous knowledge safely, you must first see this mask without pity and without hatred. There is something else you must understand. You do not function as one whole. Within you, there are three primary centers of activity. One center thinks. It handles words, images, concepts, calculations. It runs almost constantly, chattering, comparing, rehearsing, imagining. Another center feels. It registers attraction and repulsion, likes and dislikes, subtle shades of mood, the warmth of love, the sting of humiliation. A third center moves and acts. It stores habits, skills, postures, automatic responses of the body. It carries out intricate actions without needing constant supervision. In a balanced being, these three centers cooperate. Thought, feeling, and movement support one another. A thought is checked by feeling and body sense. A feeling is grounded by thought and bodily awareness. An action is guided by understanding and imbued with feeling. But you are not balanced. One of your centers dominates, another is neglected, the third is misused. Some of you live almost entirely in your head. You analyze, explain, justify, speculate. You can speak at length about yourself, about life, about the world. But your feelings are shallow and unstable, easily influenced by tiny changes in outer conditions. Your body is treated as a vehicle for the head, dragged along, ignored until it screams with fatigue or illness. You are clever, yet inwardly empty, fragile, and full of tension. Others live in the storm of emotion. Your days are dictated by what you like and dislike, by who gave you attention or withheld it, by who agreed with you or disagreed. Your feelings flare and fade, and you follow them blindly. Your thoughts serve only to rationalize your states. Your body obeys every whim of mood. You burn out quickly, then sink into apathy, waiting for the next emotional wave to carry you. Others still inhabit the mechanical body. You move, work, perform tasks, pursue pleasures, obey impulses. Thinking bores you, subtle feeling confuses you. You seek strong sensations to feel alive. Your intelligence is asleep inside the muscles and nerves wasted on habit. You are efficient, perhaps, but inwardly dull. All three types suffer. All three are asleep in different ways, and all three feed the same unseen machinery with their unconscious reactions. Now listen carefully. Your present state is not a moral failure. It is a natural condition. You were born into this sleep. You were educated deeper into it. The world around you requires your unconsciousness to keep its own machinery turning. You are not guilty. You are responsible. The possibility in front of you is not to become good in the childish sense, not to decorate your sleep with noble ideals, but to awaken little by little with precision into a different quality of attention that can begin to direct these centers, to unify this multiplicity, to pierce the mask. The first instrument is self-observation, not thinking about yourself. You already do that too much, not judging yourself. You already do that uselessly. I speak of a quiet, sustained, impersonal watching of your inner and outer life as it unfolds. To observe is to see a thought as a thought, a feeling as a feeling, a sensation as a sensation, without immediately saying, this is me, or this is good, or this is bad. For one day, try this. From the moment you wake up, place a small portion of your attention on yourself as if you were both actor and spectator in the same play. When you speak, feel your tongue and throat move. When you walk, notice the pressure of your feet on the ground. When someone speaks to you, notice not only their words, but the instant inner reactions that arise, the defensiveness, the impatience, the desire to impress, the boredom. Do not try to change anything at first. Just see. You will discover very quickly that you cannot maintain this observation for more than a few seconds. You will remember, observe a breath or two, and then your attention will be devoured by some thought, some fantasy, some irritation. Minutes, hours will disappear. Then suddenly you remember again. That sudden remembering is not nothing. It is a crack in the trance. This remembering must deepen. There is a state different from ordinary attention. In it, you are aware not only of what you are doing, seeing, hearing, but also of yourself as the one who is present in the midst of it. Usually you are lost in what happens. You are anger, you are desire, you are fear. In this other state, you can be aware of anger arising and at the same time be aware that you are here watching it, not you as your usual imagined self, but a finer point of presence. Silent, impartial. You can taste it for a second when something shocks you, a loud noise, a near accident. For a moment, everything is vivid. The world, your body, and a sense of I am here appear together. Then it is gone. The work is to invite such moments deliberately without waiting for accidents. This is the practice I give you several times a day. When you remember, stop inwardly. Without changing your outer behavior abruptly, gather your attention, sense your body from within, your feet, hands, face. Notice your breathing. At the same time, open to the sounds, sights, movements around you. Then, in the middle of this double awareness, silently affirm to yourself, not in words but in feeling, I am here. You will fail 1,000 times. That does not matter. Each second of true self-remembering is more valuable than hours of mechanical effort. There is a reason why this work is dangerous. To see yourself as you are without lies is not pleasant. Your illusions about your nobility, your sincerity, your strength will be exposed as fantasies. You will discover how often you lie externally and internally without needing to, just to preserve an image. You will see how much of your love is bargaining, how much of your goodness is fear of disapproval, how much of your honesty is self-flattery. You will see envy, cruelty, pettiness, vanity, laziness, cowardice, all wearing refined masks. Most people cannot bear such seeing. They flee back into distraction, into blame, into ideology, into intoxication. They call their sleep peace. They call their blindness faith. They call their resistance being true to themselves. And so they remain instruments, not individuals. If you continue, you must accept a strange kind of suffering, intentional suffering. Ordinary suffering is what happens to you when you are dragged by life. Illnesses, losses, disappointments, frustrations, the inevitable pain of existence. You endure it unwillingly, and it often makes you more mechanical, more bitter, more asleep. Intentional suffering is different. It is what you accept voluntarily within yourself for the sake of awakening. For example, the next time the familiar angry reaction rises in you, a subtle or violent annoyance towards someone, do not express it automatically. Do not indulge in the fantasy where you prove them wrong, humiliate them, avenge yourself. At the same time, do not suppress it brutally by pretending you're above it. Instead, observe it with full clarity. Feel the heat, the tension, the impulse to speak or withdraw. Hold it in awareness. Do not feed it with thoughts. Do not act it out. Let it burn in the light of your attention. This is suffering. You deny the mechanical expression, the comfort it seeks. You deny the personality, the satisfaction of justification. You endure the discomfort of seeing your own ugliness without immediately identifying with it or discarding it. Something in you that is finer than anger grows stronger through this friction. Or take another example. You have a comfortable habit that wastes your time and attention, a compulsive scrolling, a mindless entertainment, a routine indulgence. For a period you choose, an hour, a day, a week, you deny yourself this habit, not as a moral punishment, but as an experiment. You watch what happens. Restlessness appears, boredom, anxiety, thoughts that say, this is pointless, you will miss something, you deserve a break. Again, you observe, you bear the pull without obeying it. You discover you are not that pull. These are small examples. But if repeated sincerely, they accumulate, they generate a kind of inner heat that can begin to transform the dense substances of your mechanical being into finer ones, capable of holding more consciousness. This is not poetry, it is alchemy of attention. At times, you may deliberately introduce a stop into your day. In the midst of some action, walking, speaking, eating, you suddenly interrupt yourself for a few seconds. If you can do so without attracting absurd attention from others, you actually become still. If not, you create an inner stop, a freezing of identification. For a brief moment, you refuse to continue on automatic. You recall yourself, sense your body, see where you are, listen to the sounds. Then you resume. These shocks to habit are like small hammers tapping at the shell of your sleep. Understand, all of this inner work is not just for your personal comfort or development. That would not justify the demands it will make on you. As you begin to awaken, even slightly, you will sense that your inner life is woven into something far larger than your individual story. Your automatic fears, desires, and pains are not isolated events. They are part of a vast circulation of energies in which countless beings participate. Most live and die without ever realizing that their mechanical suffering and their unconscious reactions are harvested, transformed, used in ways they never suspect. I am not speaking here in legends. I speak of a law. What is unconscious in you does not belong to you. It belongs to the forces that move you. When you rage blindly, when you sink into despair and wallow in it, when you indulge hatred or greed or envy without seeing it, you are not only harming yourself and those near you, you are also serving the maintenance of a level of existence where sleep, conflict, and waste are the norm. You are paying with your life to sustain a prison you do not know you inhabit. But the slightest act of conscious effort, holding an inner state without expression, remembering yourself in a difficult moment, refusing a mechanical indulgence while observing its pull, has a different flavor. It is like introducing a new element into the circuitry. This element is not swallowed so easily. It resists being absorbed into the usual patterns. It belongs to another order. Your awakening, even in fragments, has value on a scale you cannot yet imagine. You are not a lonely creature chasing private enlightenment. You are a cell in a vast organism called to grow from being food into being a functioning part of a higher body. Do not be flattered by this. It is not a compliment. It is a responsibility. There is another danger. The same inner fire that can crystallize a higher center in you can also harden your present personality into an unshakable prison if misused. If you use this work only to strengthen your vanity, your will to dominate, your self-importance, you may become more coherent, more powerful in service of the wrong master. This is why I speak severely. This is why the most dangerous aspects of this knowledge are not given to the curious or the ambitious. Beneath your mask, beneath the crowd of shifting eyes, beneath the unbalanced centers, there exists the seed of a real I. Not an idea of yourself, not a role, but a stable, conscious presence that can know itself and direct your functions. This real I is not yet born fully in you. It appears in fleeting moments, when you remember yourself sharply, when you sacrifice a cherished illusion, when you see a truth about yourself and do not turn away. The aim of this work is the crystallization of that real I. This is not sudden illumination, not a romantic ecstasy. It is a long, methodical transformation. Imagine gradually building at the center of your being a solid core of awareness that can withstand inner storms, that does not vanish with every mood, that does not disappear when criticized or praised. Around this core, thought, feeling, and body begin to align. The fragments of will start to converge. Life's events still come. Loss, success, illness, joy, death. But something in you remains awake, participating rather than being dragged. Such a being is no longer mere food. Such a being can serve consciously. Now I will speak to you directly about your situation. You have heard many words in your life. You have read, listened, watched, thought. You have had insights. You have made resolutions. And yet you find yourself repeating the same patterns, the same self-doubts, the same compulsions, the same emotional reactions, the same forgetfulness. Part of you is disgusted with this repetition. Part of you is resigned. Part of you secretly enjoys the drama. I tell you, you are at a crossroads more real than any outer decision you have faced. From this point, having heard what you have heard, you can no longer claim innocence. You may pretend you never heard it. You may. I mock it. You may say, this is too extreme, too dark, too demanding. You may seek softer teachings that promise comfort, affirmation, easy peace. You are free to do so. But something in you will remember. On your deathbed, that something may whisper, you were told, you chose sleep. Or you may accept the burden of this seeing and begin to work. Do not imagine grand things. Do not dream of sudden enlightenment. I ask you for very specific inner actions, repeated with humility and persistence. First, begin the practice of self-observation from this day. For the next 24 hours, as often as you remember, watch yourself, not philosophically, factually. When you speak, notice your tone. Are you trying to impress, to dominate, to please, to escape? When you eat, observe the impulses that govern your speed, your choice, your quantity. When you are alone, see what your mind does when nobody watches. Do not justify, do not condemn, just record inwardly. If you wish, you may write down at the end of the day a few objective notes, repeated reactions, evident contradictions, striking discoveries, but write as a scientist, notes phenomena, not as a confessor seeking forgiveness. Second, choose one small habit that you know is mechanical and wasteful. It may be how you reach for your device at every pause, how you automatically check messages upon waking, how you indulge in a particular distraction whenever discomfort arises. For 1 week, at a fixed period each day, deny this habit while observing yourself. Not all day, this would be too abrupt at first, but perhaps for 1 hour in the morning or 1 hour in the evening. During that hour, every time the impulse arises, do not obey it. Instead, sense your body. Notice the craving, feel the unrest. Remember yourself in the midst of it. Let the tension accumulate. In these two simple tasks, if done sincerely, you will find enough insight and enough suffering to keep you occupied for months. You will discover how weak your attention is. You will see how quickly you forget, how eagerly you make excuses, how cleverly your mind argues against effort. You will also discover, if you persist, that moments of a new quality of presence appear, brief, delicate, but undeniable. In those moments, you are more alive than in all your ordinary hours. Third, begin to practice self-remembering in certain chosen moments regularly. For example, every time you pass through a doorway, use it as a signal. As you approach the door, recall yourself. Sense your body from head to feet. Be aware of the handle in your hand, the movement of your legs, the air on your face. At the same time, be aware of the room you are leaving and the space you are entering. Hold both inner and outer in attention. For a few seconds, be present, then go on. These are infant steps, yet they belong to a royal path. I will not promise you comfort. I will not promise you that your life will become easier. In some ways, it may become more difficult. When you begin to wake up, you will feel more acutely the mechanical nature of others, the emptiness of much that people take seriously, the cruelty and stupidity that paw SS unnoticed around you. You will see your own complicity in these things. The temptation to despair or arrogance will be strong. That is why you must cultivate, alongside severity, a quiet compassion for yourself first. Not sentimental self-pity, but the understanding that you are caught in a web you did not weave alone. You forgive yourself for being asleep by taking responsibility for awakening. You forgive others by seeing that they are machines, like you, until they begin to work. Little by little, if you continue, you will sense that the inner teacher I represent is not outside you. It speaks from a level within you that is already awake, but too faint to govern. Every time you obey the impulse to observe instead of react, to remember yourself instead of forgetting, to suffer consciously instead of mechanically, you feed that inner teacher. You make its voice stronger. One day, perhaps, it will be your own. Until then, I will speak sharply. You are not what you think you are. You do not love as you imagine you do. You do not choose as freely as you claim. You are moved, used, exhausted, and finally discarded by forces you do not know. But you have the possibility, only a possibility, to cease being an object and become a subject, to cease being food and become a participant. Do not waste this possibility in theories. Do not reduce it to a comforting idea. Take it into your flesh. Tonight, before you sleep, sit for 10 minutes in silence. No device, no distraction. Place your attention on the sensations of your body, the weight, the contact with the chair, the breath entering and leaving. Thoughts will come. Do not fight them, but do not follow them. Let them pass like birds across the sky. Each time you drift, gently return to sensation. In the middle of this, see if you can feel, for a brief instant, I am here, not as words, as a fact. Tomorrow, carry this faint flame into your day. Protect it. Feed it with small, repeated efforts. Expect nothing, demand nothing, work. This is the beginning of knowing why certain knowledge has been kept hidden, why it is dangerous. It is dangerous to your illusions, dangerous to the powers that feed on your sleep, dangerous to the entire arrangement that keeps you a compliant machine. It is also the only thing that can make your existence meaningful in a sense you cannot yet understand. You stand at a narrow doorway. Behind you is the vast familiar landscape of mechanical life with its pleasures, sufferings, and repetitions. Before you is a path steep, unclear, demanding. No one can push you through that doorway. No one can carry you. You must choose, and you must walk. If you choose to turn away, life will continue to use you. You will continue to dream and call it reality. And one day, the body will die, and all your unreal eyes will dissolve, leaving almost nothing behind. If you choose to step through, understand that this is not a moment's decision, but a lifelong consent to inner work. You will fall, fail, forget, betray your own aim 1,000 times each day. You will get up, remember, and continue. Slowly, painfully, something real will be born in you. I have told you more than is usually told. You cannot pretend you did not hear. Now, in the quiet that follows these words, listen inside. One voice in you will say, this is nonsense. Another will say, this is too hard. Another will say, yes, this is true, and I will start tomorrow. And perhaps, very faintly, another will whisper, begin now. Find that voice, feed that voice. The rest of your life depends on it.